Hey, it's Eric here at Peachtree Classic Cars. I'm really excited about this. It's a 1963 International Scout, and it has had a full engine restoration done in the past couple of months, or let's say last year, along with brand new paint. Overall, a really solid original style truck. I'm going to take it for a quick drive and show you around. I've actually got all the documentation on the mechanical part of the restoration. This is an original 4-cylinder, 4-wheel drive, all original matching numbers truck. Speedometer works, fuel gauge, temperature gauge all work. Drives down the road nice and straight. Really, really good, easy driving truck. I just did the video on the 68 International we have, and this truck, as far as driving is concerned, drives way better, way easier. I'll say I like the other truck because it's got the power with the V8 in it, but this is just got definitely the more original feel to it. Really reliable. Actually, I bought it from a lady, and she'd drive her dog around in it. That's what she got it for. Her poor dog passed away, and she said, you know, I bought it for that dog, and it's just so sentimental. I just didn't want to have the Scout in the driveway anymore. It just reminded me too much. And so, anyways, time to find her a new home. I brought it home, had a paint job. It was actually this color when I bought it. Brake stopped nice and straight as well. Emergency brake works. Actually, I may have that choke a little bit out. Let's see. There we go. It's been pretty cold here in Georgia, so I've been using the choke to start these old trucks. But anyways, this was the color it was when I bought it, and just had a few spots here and there, and I said, let's just paint it. So repainted it from bumper to bumper. I'd say it's a good looking driver quality paint job. It's not the best with the metallic in it. It's got some, if you kind of look at it, there's always sometimes a little bit of cloudiness that can come with some metallic paints. Hood opens easily. I can usually do this with one hand. Well, they're heavy, and of course I'm holding a camera in my hand, so. I didn't do a bang up job detailing under the hood because I kind of wanted to leave it alone, original looking, but they pulled the engine. Like I said, I've got the receipt on it. It's the original International, and it just purrs like a kitten. I mean, they did a full-blown 100% engine and transmission restoration on this thing, rear end. The only thing that's not hooked up, you'll notice that's a fresh air supply line. It goes from here to there, and it just ended up being a little bit too short, and so trying to stretch it out to get it to fit, but it wouldn't do it. So really just needs a new one. Go ahead and shut that back down, and I'm going to turn her off here. Oh, one of the things we did, made the wipers work. Fixed the wipers. Now they're not on the same motor, so they don't run in tandem. So sometimes to get them to, so you can actually turn them on and off here. Turn this one off, for example. Then I can turn this one on. And now I have them both parked in the same spot. Turn that one back on. Try to run them in tandem. The one thing is the vehicle had already had a cutout done here for an older radio, like back in, let's say, like the 90s. So we put a brand new Bluetooth in it. It's got Bluetooth, connects to the you know, your cell phone and stuff. Normally I wouldn't do that with this basically being all original. That's the only thing that's not original in this vehicle. But at least you've got your tunes, and if you want, you can buy these replacement panels right here where they're either uncut or you can make them for the old school original style radio. like I said, since there was already a hole there for an old CD player that didn't work, so we said let's put a brand new one in, and it works, and you can get radio and all that stuff. Gauges work, speedometer, I showed that earlier. Even when you first turn the key, the dummy lights work for oil and amperage. I believe the heater in this works. Double check. There's a lot of buttons here, and I don't know what all of them do. Okay. So I feel like an idiot pulling on this stuff. Those are vents. I think that's throttle. And I wanted to say that the heater worked. Since I can't figure it out, let's just say it doesn't, but I'm pretty sure that it does. It's all hooked up, like I said, with it being mechanical, all the mechanical stuff being hooked up. I know for sure the lights work. It's got a little fuel pump in it, and it's nice and quiet. Of course, that's for, you know, venting the windshield. And actually, when I got this truck, it didn't have the top on it. It was just parked in the garage all the time, and she had it for years and many years. I never had put the top on it. So we put the top on. With it being winter, bought new weather stripping for the front windshield. All the weather stripping kit that goes inside here is all brand new. This not this. This is the old, you know, for the door. But this weather stripping up here is brand new. We did all the weather stripping in the back is new on the glass. Down at the bottom, this piece right here is old for this flap. You turn this and it can open it up. Right here, that is a newer piece of weather stripping. Now that's not a factory original weather stripping. We put that there so it wouldn't rattle. But it was just amazing to see. Like, I bought all the new weather stripping to go around the doors to have the top on. Which makes the door seal up a little bit better. It's the windows on these never sealed perfectly, but this is not bad. And then these are the old school original slider windows, which are really cool, and they work good. Doors open and close fine. Somebody had put this diamond plate reinforcement in. We'll go underneath the vehicle. I don't remember seeing a bunch of rust under there. Who knows, that could have been done back in the 60s, and a lot of times people did that for anti-slip protection or whatever. The original seat, there's a little spot right here where you can, when you're sitting down, you can kind of feel like there's a little something there. And if this was my vehicle, I'd probably pull this side up and restuff it and put it back down, because that's the old original seat cover. Nice firm shut. No rust back here. Old original bald spare, but at least it's there. Pretty solid back here. One little spot where it looks like somebody may have done some sort of filler or something like that, but it's pretty solid back here. I love this old tailgate, and I left a 63 tag on it. It's a classic antique 1963 tag from North Carolina. This truck came from North Carolina. So let's take a look up underneath it now. Bottoms of the rockers are in great shape. If you look really close, there's a couple of little crusties here, but nothing major. And looking down, I gotta be careful. That's an exhaust Flowmaster. That's actually a Flowmaster exhaust. It kind of gives it a cool sound. Now that I'm looking at it, it looks like this part of the transmission here does not look like it was rebuilt. So I want to be really careful to, you know, advertise correctly, because this looks like the original rear end. Now the transmission shifts fine, and I see some undercoating peeling up underneath there, but I don't see anything else. Now, taking her on her word, a few little crusties here, by the way. The transmission, I mean, it shifts great in two-wheel drive high, which is what I've been driving around in. I have not messed with four-wheel drive low and four-wheel drive. It's all connected, and she lived on a farm, and she said she engaged it a couple of times. I just didn't want to, you know, I didn't have any reason to do it, I guess, supposed to test it out. Just showing it here. So there's some little crusty spots here and there, but it's clean underneath. And when I say crusty, I mean like original undercoating peeling off like this. That's just undercoating peeling off from when the vehicle was undercoated. It looks like, I don't even know that looks as much like it could be rust as just maybe you know, it got caught on something, caught a rock. There is definitely a couple little spots of rust here. So I can't call this a rust-free truck, but that's about the only spot. There's another spot here. And then this is, again, undercoating, peeling off original undercoating right there. So we'll call this a very minimal rust truck. Here's another spot of rust I just found right there. But minimal rust underneath. Again, floor pans look good. I mean, these things were like made for off-roading. I mean, this is incredible. Engine, like I said, from underneath you can tell, all new. Bell housing there. That transmission's older looking and very greasy. But I will say this, the guy who did it, he's an international, was an international expert. And I would say, my guess would be he would have rebuilt the transmission if they thought it was necessary. So I haven't felt anything. The clutch feels good. I haven't felt anything driving this that would concern me. Coming back to the back, pretty typical spots where they rust out back here. And then the same on this side. That's a very typical rust spot. Most guys will cut that out and just leave it. Just cut it and leave it off. Of course, you can do a patch. It's just not necessary. And then, of course, this is the underneath of the bed, and it's all nice and solid. Again, you know, that's original paint underneath there and undercoating. It looks like this truck, if that's the original paint color, it looks like it could have been a turquoise or something, which would have been really cool. I had actually considered changing it and painting it turquoise and doing the turquoise and cream color. But I just thought, I actually really like this color a lot. And also, you know, when you do a color match, it just makes it easier. So anyways, actually I'm in love with this color. I would personally paint a vehicle this color that I was keeping. So, well, there you have it. 1963 International Scout. 80, I believe, is what they call it. This was where they actually advertise these as an all-wheel drive vehicle instead of just calling it a four-wheel drive vehicle, which is really cool. But it's in great shape. Like I said, very minimal rust. The body's rust-free from what I can tell. Aero straight. I don't see any places where it looks like there's a bunch of Bondo in it or anything. Nice looking grill. The lights work. We got the windshield wipers to work, put the top on. You know, if I was keeping this truck personally, I'd do what the lady before did. I'd take the top off and set it over in the corner of the garage, put some blankets over it to protect it, take the windows off, and I'd drive it. And when I bought this, that's what it looked like. It didn't have the top or the windows in it. So, but the fact that those pieces are there is extremely valuable if you're ever restoring one of these, or you know anything about Scouts, trying to find the slider windows, trying to find the tops. When you do find them, they're extremely expensive. So much better, of course, to buy something like this that's all put together. One last thing, the tires have like brand new tread on them, but they are weather rotten for sure. They're holding air just fine, and we've had the vehicle since late October or November and been driving it around. I have a little farm, and personally, if I was farm trucking this, I would not change the tires on it. But if you're going to drive it around on the road, you might want to go with a less knobby tire and a little bit more of a you know, regular road tire. Another thing too is they are reverse thread on the driver's side, regular thread on the passenger side. So when you go to take these wheels off on the driver's side, you turn righty loosey, lefty tighty versus righty tighty, lefty loosey on the other side. Alrighty, I ran a little long on this one, but I'm in love with this truck, and this is how I go long on my videos when I feel this way. So give us a call. It's peachtree classic cars.com. Take a look there. Our cell phone number's there, and we look forward to hearing from you.